نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So continue our lesson in Kitab al-Salat from the book Bulugu al Maraam by Hafid ibn Hajar rahimahullah. And last week and the week before that we had covered what is mentioned regarding Kitab al-Salat or Sifat al-Salat, regarding the description of the Prophet Islam Salat as mentioned in the book of Bulugu al Maraam. So last week, or before we ended that discussion, all the hadith, we covered them. Then last week what we did was to do like a summary or recap of all that was there, but also put in certain type of context of concerning how the fuqaha would outline certain things. So we can somewhat try to gather and mention what is the aim of the wajibat, of the arkan of salat. And we mentioned, and we can somewhat use the book of Sheikh Fawzan, Hafidullah. So it's the book of Sheikh Fawzan, Mulakis Fakiyya, that also is in English, that to give us so he mentioned regarding the arkan of salat, that how many points he mentioned, or how many matters he mentioned at the arkan of salat. Who recall the arkan of salat?
12, 14.
14 as arkan of salat. Then for the wajibat of salat, he mentioned how many things? 8 as the wajibat of salat. And then remaining, other than outside these ones, are called the sunnah of the salat, and there are many. So the Shaykh Hafidullah can go through everything, just mention some, but there are many regarding the sunnah of the salat, and they're the bulk of the ahkam of salat. So I would say that's related to what we're discussing tonight, or starting discussion tonight regarding Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. He mentioned after Sifat al-Salat, he mentioned regarding Babu Sujood Al Sahw. So discuss concerning Bab Sujood Al Sahw, meaning if the person was to make an error in the salat, then how this is to be corrected. So if an error occurred in the salat, how one should correct that error in the salat. So we mentioned that of the things of last week regarding, as to be discussed, as the Shaykh Hafidullah mentioned, that if the arkan takes certain rulings, then the wajibat, that if the person was to make an error in the wajibat of salat, then what is to be done? What's the correction, or the person correct the wajibat of the salat? Sujood does Sujood Al Sahw. So the person was to miss one of the wajibat of salat unintentionally, then the person will perform Sujood Al Sahw to make up for this. So it doesn't mean that the person stop and do the salat all over again, but rather the person continue at the end, he will do Sujood Al Sahw. So this now is we were discussing concerning those ahkam relating to Sujood Al Sahw. So after Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he mentioned this bab Sujood Al Sahw wa ghayru or wa ghayri, and other than this. So then he mentioned the first hadith, and we'll then start to discuss these masail. He mentioned various things regarding Sujood al-Tilawa also as other things that are discussed as relate to the salat. So the person may be inside the salat, there's certain things that may occur that is within the salat. Now what carried out the salat. So you have one Sujood al-Sahw of the thing that occurs that while in the salat itself. Another thing that sometimes occurs inside the salat is Sujood al-Tilawa. Sujood al-Tilawa. So for example, Tilawa, Sujood al-Tilawa in the sense of that there are certain ayats in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they are read and a person should goes into sujood. So that also have certain ahkam. So that's of those things that also he mentioned and discussed. So we discussed mainly here concerning Sujood Al Sahw regarding what is mentioned here at the hadith. So okay, so we started about the hadith of Abdullah ibn Buhayna. Aywa, naqra. And so the hadith, who the reader of the hadith? Bismillah.
263, is it? 262. Narrated Abdullah bin Buhayna, the Prophet ﷺ led them in the Zuhr prayer when he stood up at the end of the first 2 rak'ah and did not sit. The people stood up with him. When he finished the Salah prayer and the people expected him to do the taslim salutation, He uttered the takbir while sitting and made 2 prostrations before saying the taslim, salutation. And then he uttered the taslim, reported by As-Sabah, and this is Al-Bukhari's wording. In the narration of Muslim it is mentioned that he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, uttered the takbir for each prostration while sitting, and the people prostrated with him to make up for the sitting he had forgotten.
So those are 2 other hadith that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he started out first, and this hadith is a discuss concerning, this hadith is a clarify regarding that the permissibility of sujood as-sahw, that the mashru'iyyat of sujood at-tilawa, or sorry, sujood as-sahw. So I mentioned the hadith of Abdullah ibn Buhayna radiyallahu anhu, where the Prophet Islam, he mentioned, Nabi Islam, صلى بهم ظهر فقام في ركعتين أوليين ولم يجلس فقام الناس معه حتى إذا قضى الصلاة. Then he mentioned the hadith that we mentioned. So for this hadith, in tonight's lesson, that we're going to lose most of the ahkam that we'll be discussing from the explanation of Bulugu Maraam by Sheikh Sa'd al-Shitri. Now, he does things in a very point form, but very good regarding how it is laid out. The other word that normally we use is not in that same form, more discussed concerning the Masail, but the points of Sheikh Sa'd al-Shitri, in this case, we'll be using more so, or relying more so on this one. So, as for the first one that is discussed, outside Sheikh Sa'd al-Shitri, I mentioned that's concerning that this hadith of the first al-fawahid, or benefit of the hadith, he mentioned concerning mashru'iyyat sujood at-tilawa. That this hadith is to show the permissibility that one can carry out the act of sujood as sujood al-sahw if an error is made in the salat. As in this case, the Prophet Islam, he prayed rak'atayn in a salat that consists of arba. Now, so an error occurred. Now, then he went on to make sujood as sahw later on. Now, so he showed the permissibility of this. As for the Prophet said, it now shows mashru'iyyat sujood al-sahw. Then the ulama, they discuss concerning what's the hukum regarding sujood al-tilawa and sujood al-sahw. What's the hukum? Now, if one says something is mashru', it is permissible. But that permissibility could be in a case of something being wajib or mustahab, or just jaiz. So the word mashru'iyyat is of something being mashru', it is something with a general ruling. So a mashru' could be, in a case, it could be wajib, it could be mustahab, or it could be jaiz, mubah. Now, so in specific, what ruling does sujood as-sahw takes? The ulama regarding that, they are jumhur of the ulama, they are of the position that sujood, performing sujood as-sahw, it is something which is wajib. It is something which is wajib. And that's the view taken by Imam Ahmed, Imam Malik, Imam Al-Thawri, Wal Ishaq, and others. Also Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. So those are the ulama of the A'immat al-Arba. 3 of A'immat al-Arba is of the view that sujood as-sahw, it is wajib. Mention Ahmed, Malik, Abu Hanifa, Al-Thawri, and others. That they take it as this wajib. Ahmed, Malik, Abu Hanifa, Imam Al-Thawri, Sufyan Al-Thawri, and others. In this case, Imam Malik rahimahullah, he ought to be wajib, but also he stipulates, Imam Malik and others, that they stipulate that it must be done qabla salam. That sujood al-sahw, it is wajib, but in all cases it is to be done before the salam. Regardless, so they see that sujood al-sahw is only to be performed before the salam.
Who specified that, sorry?
Imam Malik. So of those who order to be wajib, but he stipulate, put as a condition that has to be done when? Before the taslim, or before the salam. That's with Imam Malik. Then others of the ulama, amongst them Imam Shafi rahimahullah, that they all and others take the position that sujood al-sahw, it is sunnah. It is sunnah, not wajib. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, that's Imam Shafi rahimahullah, ordered to be sunnah, not wajib. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he discusses ليس مع من لم يوجبها, that the one who does not ought to be wajib, hujja taqarib dhalik, that the one who, or those who take the position that it is not wajib, that their delil is not as strong as those who ought it to be wajib. So he's more inclined towards the view of those who are of the view that it is wajib, based upon the numerous delil regarding this. That's concerning the hukum in general, that's the hukum regarding Sujood Al Sahw in general. Then As-Shaykh Sa'ad al-Shittu rahimahullah, of the he mentioned that أن من ترك واجبا من واجبات الصلاة غير الأحكام جبره بالسجود السهو. So he mentioned that, as we mentioned that the one from this hadith and others, that the one who miss an act that is wajib from amongst those wajibat act of the salat, then he makes this up by doing sujood al-sahw. So the person miss of the wajibat of salat, not the arkan, then he perform sujood al-sahw. So if the person miss any of the wajibat of the salat, I'll mention that based upon what is mentioned by last week, that's not the ulama, the awla of the wajibat of salat is how many?
8.
The wajibat of salat is 8 matters. So if you miss any of those 8 matters, then you do sujood al-sahw according to those who order to be 8 matters, or whatever that they deem to be of the wajibat of salat. So meaning if the person misses an arkan, now he makes it a rak'ah or the salat. If the person misses a sunnah of the salat, it's not a must that he has to do sujood al-sahw. Then he discussed that, then from the ulama, they discussed of the dalil that if a person misses a wajibat of salat, they use concerning the Prophet that mentioned lam yajlis, that he did not pray rak'atayn and did not sit, he went up. So he missed what? Tashahhud al-awwal. Now, so he missed tashahhud al-awwal, so he came up directly. فَقَامَ النَّاسِ, and the people, they followed him. Now, so he mentioned that he missed tashahhud al-awwal, and that is classed by some of the ulama to be of the wajibat of salat. Now, and at the end he did sujood al sahw. So based upon this, they of that view. So based upon this, the third matter mentioned, now based upon this hadith, that of the view that concerning tashahhud al-awwal laysa min arkan al-salat, that the tashahhud al-awwal is not from the arkan of salat, but rather it is classed as the wajibat. As if it was something of the arkan of salat, then you have to do the entire rak'ah over at least. But because if it is not of the arkan of salat, then sujood al-sahw is sufficient to cover that mistake, or to make up for that mistake. Now, then the next matter to discuss, we won't discuss all the points that he mentioned. Of the next point that he discussed, he mentioned that a person who is following behind the imam, the one who prays behind the imam, now that he follows the imam in sujood al-sahw. Now he follows the imam in sujood al-sahw. So even though the imam is the one who made the mistake, now you were in the salat with the imam, he got up for tashahhud al-awwal, but you were prepared already, but he got up, so you followed him. Now, so in that case, you still you follow the imam, and you do as he do regarding sujood al-sahw, even though you missed it because he missed it. You missed it because he missed it. So the error is from him, but you follow through with the imam. And this he mentioned, you follow the imam, whether you were present when he made the mistake. So you started off with the imam from the beginning of the salat. He made a mistake and you continue with him. And you do the sujood sahw with him. Now, or you came after. You came, for example, on the last rak'ah. So you came on rak'ah, and when you came, you weren't a part of the error that occurred regarding missing sujood Tashahhud al-awwal, you didn't miss it. Because you weren't a part of it, the salat then. But still you follow the imam through it, sujood al-sahw, then you go up and you continue your salat. Now, so the person will continue, as I was said before, that sometime in the salat, the person who comes late, now, as the imam gives the salam, now, as the imam goes and gives the first salam, you just both up. You quickly go up. Not to do that until he give both taslim, you go. Because there may be, you have to do sujood al-sahw after taslim, and you what? You're up there standing while he is, you understand, still doing sujood al-sahw. So always wait until the imam give the second taslim, then you move. Now, so generally the person follow the imam. The person followed the imam, whether he was with him from the start of salat or he came later on. He still has to also perform sujood al-tilawa. So sujood al-sahw, then, but you don't do it again at the end of your salat. Now, so you do it at that point when the imam does it, but it doesn't mean that you repeat the same act again at the end of your salat when you complete your extra rakat. Now, and that's of the points that he mentions. Then also he mentioned a matter we discussed before concerning from this hadith. Some of the ulama have a discussion regarding that tashahhud al-awwal, is it of the arkan or of the wajibat or the sunnah of the salat. So if I find that those who hold that the wajibat of the salat, they use this hadith as their proof. They use the hadith where the Prophet he made sujood al-sahw because he missed the tashahhud. Now, so he showed that tashahhud is more than just a sunnah, but not to the degree of a arkan. Now, also from the hadith, as in the narration of Sahih Muslim, وفي رواية المسلم يكبر في كل سجدة, that in Islam, that for every sajda, the additional sajda, sujood al-sahw is done, that is a takbir that is done in between. So going down, so for example, we give Assalamu alaikum and give a taslim. He says Allahu Akbar, then go down. Allahu Akbar and come back. Now, so for every movement, there's a takbir. There's a takbir. So this hadith, the narration in Sahih Muslim, it proves that point.
Slightly off topic but on topic still. So when you walk behind the imam and the imam makes his takbir, should your takbir be audible as well, or should it be silent?
The general thing for the person praying that is takbirat, it should be silent. His takbirat should be silent in the salat. So from the start, so all the time from the start to the end, that he should make it as silent as possible without being as audible as the imam. So the other point of the Shaykh Hafidhullah that he mentioned, then he mentioned a matter regarding and that will come later, we're going to discuss that further later. Then he mentioned another point regarding this matter concerning أن الإمام إذا ترك التشهد الأول he mentioned concerning وقوع السهو من رسول الله that regarding concerning that the Prophet that he made an error in the salat. The Prophet made an error in the salat, showing that regarding concerning that and the benefit of this, that he made an error in the salat so as to teach others that it may occur with anyone. But what to be done in such case? Now, so the error that occurred with Imam Islam, it serves as a lesson for others regarding when errors occur, what is to be done. As a person, so that all the time won't be perfect. Now, so if an error occurred, then what is to be done? So this was of the benefit of that the Prophet making an error in his salat, so as to teach the ummah what is to be done in such circumstances and cases. Now, and he showed the Prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed the Prophet Islam to make an error in this. Now, so certain time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed the Prophet Islam to make an error so as to show concerning, as that time is to show concerning the perfection of the Sharia. So errors occur, but to show the perfection of the Sharia. How?
Where you can rectify the mistake.
Hey, to rectify that error sometime will occur.
Yeah.
But how to go about to deal with errors in whatever area, in this particular matter, but also this applies to other areas. Now, so errors sometimes will occur, but the perfection of the Sharia is that it take into consideration 8 cases when error may occur and what to be done. Now, so errors, as I say, will occur and correction may need to be done, but then there's guidelines regarding how to carry out those corrections. They mention here a matter that Sheikh Sa'd Hafidullah, he mentioned, Sheikh Sa'd actually mentioned, أن من ترك واجبا من واجبات الصلاة غير أحكام ستر له قبل السلام خلافا لحنفية. That he mentioned of the matters that the one who missed one of the wajibat of salat, and then other than the arkan, and you have to do the sujood at the end, sujood al sahw at the end, then he mentioned that the taslim, normally the asl at the taslim, that it be done qabla, or the sujood is to be done qabla taslim. Now, the normal thing has to be done before taslim, but there's cases where it can be done where it is done after, but in most part it's done before taslim, according to this view, according to what he takes from the hadith, that a normal thing that a person perform sujood al sahw before the taslim, but we will find cases where it is done after.
Are we going to go into them today?
Yeah, the hadith will mention some of those cases. The hadith mentions some of those cases. So it's not per se that in all cases it is done before or after, is depending, as to be discussed, depending on the circumstance where what error occurred. And our Prophet Islam, when he made the taslim, sometime before and sometime after. So there's nothing where it's done all the time before and all the time after, but it may varies. Also from the hadith that he mentions, that between after, if the after performing taslim and doing taslim, meaning the salams, and doing the sujood al-sahw, the person when he comes back to give another taslim, he doesn't do tashahhud once again. So the person making error, he did Allahu Akbar, went down to make his, so for example in this case, Assalamu alaikum, or he went and he gave his tashahhud, in his tashahhud now, and he noticed and he is aware that he has made an error to do sujood al-sahw, and he has finished his taslim. So either case, you find 2 cases, or give the taslim, then go into sujood al-sahw. With me? In that case, he does in that example, he give the taslim. Then now go into sujood, say Allahu Akbar, go into sujood al-sahw, Allahu Akbar comes up, now, and then go back, and then come back up again. He doesn't again go into another tashahhud. He doesn't go into another tashahhud. He goes straight into taslim. With me? So that so you wouldn't be doing in that same in that last rak'ah 2 tashahudan. No, only 1. So after the sujood al-sahw, there's no taslim, there's no tashahhud before the taslim. Clear? Clear. Okay. So again, the person who does not after sujood al-sahw, before giving the taslim, so he give Allahu Akbar, go down, Allahu Akbar, come back, Allahu Akbar, and come back up again. He goes straight into taslim, doesn't go through the process or go through the act of performing another tashahhud again. At-tahiyyat, he doesn't go through the process again. That is missed, and he goes straight to the salam. Clear? Aywa.
the Sujood Al Sahw, you done the salam to the right. Is that the way to do? I've seen that done by some imams. They do salam to the right and then they go to Sujood.
To be discussed. Because in this case, where the Prophet is concerned, also in this case concerned if the person misses the tashahhud. The person misses tashahhud. Now in this case, he mentioned the Prophet concerning وَهُوَ جَالِسٌ so he mentioned as-salat فَانْتَظَرَ النَّاسِ تَسْلِيمُ. So the people were waiting for him to give the taslim. Because they expected taslim at that point. Now, so they mentioned kabbar وَهُوَ جَالِسٌ. So we're going to give the taslim immediately because he missed what? What he missed? Tashahhud al-awwal. So they weren't aware of what to be done because it's something, a new experience for them. For them it's a new experience. Now, so in this case, he went, the people that following, he got up and they got up with him. They didn't say, subhanallah, they didn't do that in this case. Now, because that was the first time it have occurred, so they weren't, they haven't experienced this before. So they just follow through. They just follow as, now, but here Islam realized what he had done. Now, so what he did, when he went into Tashahhud al-Akhirah, he sat, so the people still be waiting for him just to give the taslim, that what they know. Now, so what Islam did, then before he gave the taslim, he went and gave the what? Sujood Al Sahw. So the person misses Tashahhud al-Awwal, now, for the reason maybe, then a person, in this case, the person does not give the taslim at the end of the salat. Where in tashahhud, don't give the taslim, then do the Sujood Al Sahw. He goes, when he finishes tashahhud, then he gets Allahu Akbar and he goes into sujood, as in this hadith. Now, so he will do the sujood twice. قبل أن يسلم, before he gives the salah, and then at the end of those sujood, then he'll give the taslim. So the person miss tashahhud al-awwal, he give the taslim after he has done sujood al-what? Al-sahw. Clear? Aywa. In this case, I mentioned the people, they follow the imam. So the people said not that and to be discussed. Now, so in this case, I mentioned the people who follow the imam. And in this case, because the experience for them was new. Now, so they didn't know what to be done. So that's kind of somewhat follow the Prophet Islam throughout the salat. But he didn't so that can be done. So that can be done. The person doesn't understand about the salat. The person new to Islam, he just follow the imam. Follow the imam as what the imam does. Now, then later on he will learn other method, but in his salat for a beginner person, he can just follow the imam until he himself have learned the ahkam of salat. Now, so in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ also didn't correct the people regarding telling them what to be done. Now, did the salat and that was it. Now, in other hadith will mention then he can somewhat explain as to what to be done regarding if an error occur. Now, then that's concerning those matters. Those matters.
So, this point, this is it's interesting. The Sujood Al Sahw, this is a wahi command or something the Prophet does.
From wahi. Yeah, some narration that's not, it's for wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah. But it took place actually in that salah,
yeah?
SubhanAllah.
Hey, someone said that the salat was going on, that's now as a part of revelation, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him how to correct that situation.
There and there.
Right there.
Wow.
Now, so it was corrected there, so hey, some people can somewhat they try because they said no, with this hadith and hadith of this particular bab, it can someone I like the Prophet saw that made an error, but those errors was made was that no, we use the word intentionally, but the word for a hikmah. Now it was done for for a greater purpose if you want to use that terminology. Now, which is to show the ummah and the imma, everyone, and because the Muslims as human beings, especially us more so, things will come in between us sometimes with salat, and we may commit and we may have error. But what to be done? But some people, they see this because some people they find it difficult to admit that the Prophet made an error. You understand? They find it difficult because they see the Prophet as not, yes, you are ma'soom, you are infallible regarding what. So they find it difficult to say anything that they find because the Prophet said he made an error. So they try everything they can to explain away this. And that sometimes going over, and this is based upon what? That a person sometimes don't know to put things in their proper context. Even concerning Prophet, even concerning the Anbiya. Yes, they're the best amongst us, they are perfect regarding what they relate to us, but this error occurred, we said, for a purpose. But they still cannot take that or grasp this. So they still want to prove that the Prophet did make an error and da-da-da-da-da. It did occur. Now, so it shows concern that with people that as human beings, errors occur, but treat each person accordingly. And not to take a person beyond what they deserve, even Anbiya. We try to find an excuse for everything after what becomes, if it is right in your face, become impossible. Now, so everyone is given the respect that they're deserving. Human beings can make errors. The Anbiya, they did it as a lesson for us. Now, but it shows that we have to get somewhat, sometimes that not, if we can accept certain things, not just basing upon our desires. Well, how we look at other people and how we treat them, but treat each person according to what they're deserving. Even Anbiya. As we said that because of this, people have this ta'assub, not even ta'assub, this type of ghulu to the Prophet said, people go to the Prophet Masjid, that's the Masjid for example in Medina, and they'll go and give their salam, and you see them, the time to come back, they're going to go back, you understand? They'll walk backwards, they can't turn their back to the Prophet's grave. So they walk like that, all throughout, walking back. You're thinking, what's wrong with you, dude? You understand? That's the ghulu.
But the Prophet did say, in English rendition obviously, do not overpraise me like the Nasara done to the son of Mary, and make me a God besides Allah.
And with that, but people are still fall into it. And if people are falling regarding personality, sometimes people go overboard regarding personality, not knowing how to put every person in their proper place. Now, and that's something they find that one day, the fitna of this of mankind, not just this ummah, but the fitna of mankind. So as concerning that particular matter, the Prophet when he went that the intention was to make a mistake, but it occurred. Now, so as to teach the ummah a lesson from this. Also Shaykh Hafidullah, he mentioned some points. I mentioned them a few times. I mentioned concerning point Rabi al-Ashar, أن من تكرر سهوه في الصلاة لم يصل إلا مرة واحد. That a person made maybe several mistakes in the salat. It only requires just one sujood al sahw. It doesn't matter for every mistake. In of the wajibat of salat, a separate sujood al sahw for every mistake. Then that's not the case. So you make two mistakes, only one sujood al sahw. You make one mistake, one sujood al sahw. You make three mistakes, one sujood al sahw. Not three because you made three mistakes. So one set of sujood al sahw is sufficient for all the mistakes that were made. Now, and it should concern the people who were concerned that they were set upon Bara Asliya. They understood the salat in a particular way, and they still was going with what they understood from before. Now, so the Prophet made the error regarding the salat, and he was still there, like the people were waiting for the taslim, were expecting taslim to come, but it didn't come. A takbir came. Now, so the people were still they were still following what they knew and recognized the salat from before. So any changes become something which is a change by way of the Sharia adding something that the people didn't expect or weren't familiar with. But that was still time of where the Sharia was still going to things still being still being legislated still. So things where some other people are used to certain things, but still in the legislation, everything wasn't per se come to a complete end. There were still things that were still being taught even regarding Salat. So they knew Salat in a particular way, but not with Sujood Al Sahw. So when it came, they were not expecting it, but they kind of somewhat went along with it. Now, but instead with now everything now been perfected and completed. So that's concerning of the benefit of that particular hadith. That's of the benefit of the Shaykh Hafidullah that he mentioned regarding this particular hadith. Also from the hadith, are to come next, we discuss that later. That can to be discussed later. Aywa, the next hadith of Abi Hurairah.
Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam led us in 2 rakat of one of the 2 dhuhr or asr prayers and said the taslim, salutation. He then got up and went towards a piece of wood which was at the front part of the mosque and placed his hands upon it. Abu Bakr and Umar were among the people, but they were afraid to speak to him. And some of the hasty type of people came out and said, "Has the Salah prayer been shortened?" A man whom the Prophet ﷺ called Dhul Yadayn, the long armed, asked, "Have you forgotten, O Allah's Messenger, or have you prayed, or has the prayer been shortened?" He said, "I have neither forgotten nor has it been shortened." He said, "Indeed, you have forgotten." He, the Prophet ﷺ, then prayed the remaining 2 rakat and said the taslim, salutation. He then uttered the takbir and prostrated similar to his normal prostration or longer. Then raised up his head and uttered the takbir. He then prostrated and uttered the takbir, and the prostration was similar to his normal prostration or longer. He then raised his head and uttered the takbir agreed upon, and it is Bukhari's wording.
So the hadith is mentioned next regarding this particular discussion regarding Ahkam Sujood Al Sahw. So next hadith he mentioned also the hadith of Abi Hurairah anhu. We mentioned also Ihda Salatay Ashi. So they mentioned also Rak'atayn. So the Prophet said that he prayed a particular salat of Al Rakat, and they were undecided concerning either Dhuhr or Asr. Some narration mentioned to Dhuhr Salat, but it was either Dhuhr or Asr Salat that he prayed ركعتين ثم سلم, so he prayed ركعتين and gave the salam. ثم قام إلى خشب في مقدم المسجد, and he went to Islam and sat at a post in the masjid. Then kind of somewhat was there. Then ففي قوم, they mentioned amongst the people that prayed with him was Abu Bakr, Umar. فهبى أن يتكلم يكلمها فخرج سرعان الناس. So Abu Bakr and Umar was there, but they were somewhat didn't want to approach him regarding the matter and speak to him about the matter, take the matter with her. But then other people were there that they got up and they left. So far, some people still remain with him alayhi salam, and some people they left the masjid. فقالوا, so those who were there told them, قصر الصلاة, the people started to have like a discussion between themselves. قصر الصلاة وفي قوم رجل يدعو, that Nabi al-Islam, ذا اليدين, a person was referred to as ذو اليدين, a person called a person with 2 long hands, 2 hands. That person, they discussed that his name is, that discussion regards him, Khirbaq, his name is Khirbaq ibn Amr Sulami. Khirbaq ibn, and that's his name, that they mentioned that, you know, Shaykh Saleh should mention that he's referred, that that's the person, but a discussion between the ulama. Khirbaq ibn Amr Sulami.
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 Sulami or Sulami?
Sulami. Sulami.
Oh.
So this person, kind of someone was a person, kind of someone then decided to call Ya Rasulullah, that regard that decided to approach the Prophet Islam regarding the matter. Ya Rasulullah, anasita am khusirta as-salat. So said the Prophet said, put in a way which he showed the politeness of the person. Now, so said the Prophet said, so he knew something wasn't right, as we say in our language. He knew something wasn't right. Now, because they were used to the salat being arba, but today it was rak'atayn. Some left and some remaining. So he went to the Prophet and says, no, anasita aw qasart. Did you forget, or was the salat been shortened? So it would be one of the two possibilities. So anyone said, no, are you wrong? Are you wrong? He didn't have that approach. So it's all regarding an-nasiha and approaching people, sometimes not to make it seem as if you are always right. So he went to the Prophet, but give like a possibility. Was there maybe an error from your part? Or has the salat been what? Shortened? Because it could be one of the reasons. But it seemed as if he was, you understand, he knew what's going on. Now, so can someone put it that way to the Prophet, showing mannerism and conduct and how to approach people regarding to the matter that you are unclear about. Or you may be clear, but you are unclear, is the person clear what they have done? Now, so he mentioned, anasita am qursibta as-salat. So the Prophet said, lam ansa wa lam tuksar. I didn't forget, nor did I shorten the salat. So the Prophet, in his mind, he did everything as normal. In his mind, he carried everything through as normal. Then faqal bala qad nasit, the person, it seems as if you are forgotten. Fasalla rak'atayn, then nasit fasalla rak'atayn. They mentioned the Prophet that he have nasit, that in some narration mentioned that he asked others regarding, is this person so that's concerning that particular hadith. So that's concerning that particular hadith. And some narration mentions that someone tried to ask others to confirm, is this the case? What actually did took place? So from the hadith that we have read, then he mentioned Shaykh Salih Shukri, he mentioned of the fawaid of this hadith and the lessons can be learned. That again he shows concerning the permissibility of sujood al sahw in the case of the person who prayed less than what is expected. The person prayed less than what is expected of him to pray. So in this case, the Prophet Islam, he prayed rak'atayn when he's supposed to have prayed al-rakat, and there were those behind him. So in a case that for a person, if he prayed less than what is expected, then the person, then he can still make up for what he have missed. So he doesn't need to pray the additional to what he have missed and pray sujood al sahw, and that's sufficient. So he prayed rak'atayn, gave the taslim, realized that he had made an error, got up, prayed rak'atayn, 2 more rak'atayn, give the sujood al sahw, and that was it. Now, so he showed the permissibility of sujood al sahw in case where the person prayed less than what is expected. The Malikiyah is of the view if the person did something additional, in every case an additional occurred in the salat, then you pray sujood as sahw after the taslim. So the Malis, the Shafi'i, they say what? Sujood al sahw is to be done when? Before the taslim, at all time. But the Malikiyah mentioned that if the person did additional, so the Prophet he added where he prayed 2, then had to make up some more, then do the sujood al sahw. Then in those cases of additional, according to them, then a person does the sujood al sahw after the taslim. After the taslim. So you find some ulama give a general principle. They mention 1, in a case where you did less, you pray less than was expected, you missed something in the salat. So you did like a less, if there was naqsan in the salat, then you do the taslim, you do sujood al sahw, then do the taslim. Now, so you do the sujood al sahw before taslim if there's some deficiency in the salat. You prayed less than what is expected. But if you did more, you did something additional to the salat. Now, for example, addition to the salat, that a person is praying and then in salat praying al-rakat, but in the 3rd rakah he went and he sat and started with tashahhud, thinking that he's in the 4th. So that added to the salat. With me? You have added to the salat type of thing. So in that case, they will say that in that case, if such example, in such cases, you will give the taslim after you give the sujood al-sahw after taslim, because you have added. But if you have done less, then you do it before what? The taslim. Some can give that principle. Ibn Taymiyyah somewhat saw that out also as something to be done to make it easy. Now, and some mention, as mentioned by Qadi Iyad, that whether the person did the taslim before, did the sujood al-sahw before the taslim or after, he doesn't know what to be done. Should I do it before or after? He doesn't know. Whichever case, whichever way he does it, that's sufficient. Whichever case, whatever is done is sufficient. He recognizes the error, but he doesn't know, should I do it before the taslim, the sujood al-sahw, or after taslim, which way to go. Whichever way he does it, it's sufficient. So Qadi Iyad rahimahullah, he mentioned that, and also Shaykh bin Baz, he also mentioned this. So whatever says that sujood al-sahw is done before or after, that is still sufficient. It suffices for that correction.
You said that, Shaykh bin Baz?
Shaykh bin Baz also of that view. Of the benefit that he mentions, Jawaz Sahw al-Anbiya. They show that permissibility that the Anbiya, they could fall into error or make certain forgetfulness. As Islam mentioned, إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ أَنْسَى كَمَا تَنْسَوْنَ. That I'm a bashar, I'm a human being, and I can forget just as you may forget. Now, so he showed the Prophet Islam that under Hadith in Bukhari Muslim that Islam sometimes may make error, but is error in most places. The Prophet also bear in mind, when the Prophet make an error, it get corrected immediately by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the Prophet make an error, it's not like us where we do an error and don't even recognize it and doesn't get corrected. But when Islam make an error, it's usually immediately corrected. Now, as that a part of the legislation of Islam, as I said, to show that when an error occurs, what to be done. So when he makes an error, it doesn't just go uncorrected. That's not the case. Now, not like us per se. So a person in the Prophet said, we can make error. Said yes, error may occur, but it will be corrected. It will be corrected. And most cases, right immediately. Not remain uncorrected. Also, when an error occurs in Salah, a person forgets something in the Salat, it doesn't mean the Salat immediately is nullified. So a person making an error, as we discussed, and a person making an error in the Salat, or you have doubt where you're at in the Salat, it doesn't mean that you will break your Salat and then restart again. It doesn't mean that. Now, an error occurs, you just know how to correct it from that point. The method, so it shows concern to know the person may have either doubt in his Salat regarding Rakat that he's doing, or where he's at in his Salat, or he may have missed something or add something. It doesn't mean that at that point you just come out of your Salat. Now, it just means that the person has to know then what to be done in how to correct it. So Prophet in these cases never invalidated his own Salat or nullified his Salat, but he corrected it in a way which is appropriate. So it shows concern the ease of Islam. When the person to restart the Salat again from start, just correct it from where it needs to be corrected. Also, it shows concern a person, if you're praying and you have of the belief that you have ended your Salat, now, then you give the taslim. Then if you're corrected after, you may have made an error after completing, then you make up from there. But where you believe that you have reached the end of your Salat, in your mind, your understanding, then you end with your taslim. Unless you're corrected to show, or you're corrected by others, showing that you have done an error, then you make up for that error. Now, because sometimes you're praying, especially at home, or wherever you're praying, and sometimes where am I? Am I time to end my Salat now?
Oh, it's not just me then.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so I might, you understand, so you're praying, and it occurs more so like when you're praying by yourself. It seems to occur more. Now, where am I?
This is from the whisperings.
No, you have two things. We have waswas, and we have the person sahw, like forgetfulness. You understand? You lose count. Now, so this is either person can, you understand? At the point you lose count, either can recount where you're at and make up from there, catch yourself, as they say, or you're unable. So you act upon either if you or that could be waswas. Now, waswas become a more troubling case. Sahw, in that case, you just forget where you're at. Now, so either you just build upon, either you go back to, you try to recap where you're at and see if you can catch yourself and you continue from there. Now, or if you're unable, then you go back to the rak'ah the amount that you think. Either you think that if you're in doubt regarding, either case of doubt, am I in my fourth rak'ah or my third rak'ah? With me? So you're in doubt. So you know you're either in something, but you're not clear. Is it my fourth or is it the fourth one I'm at, or the third? If you're in doubt between fourth or third, then just accept it as being your third. And that's the one that is sure. And the doubt is on the fourth. Am I in my third or my second? You go to the least number. Just for example, they said like in tawaf. You're making tawaf around the Kaaba. Am I in my sixth or my fifth? Then you go back to what? The least. That's the one that is certain of the two numbers. So go back to the one that you're certain of with the least of the numbers, and you take it from there. And in that case, you just make Sujood Al Sahw. Was, then a person, you understand, was will lead to the person, then the shaitan comes. And something is either to try to get rid of the shaitan and continue on. And seek refuge the last point regarding al-waswas. And with waswas, also something waswas does build upon what you are certain of. So a person should be waswas regarding wudu. Now they start their wudu and they don't know, and they repeat one thing over and over. Waswas, the person making ruku all day. Can't leave ruku. Can't leave Fatiha. Fatiha again, did I say Fatiha? Fatiha again, did I say Fatiha? Then Fatiha and Fatiha. He does on Fatiha all day. Then that's waswas. He's stuck with Fatiha. Then that's a problem. So in that case, our salat starts up. Did I wash my hand? Did I wash my hand? Keep washing this and washing. This is third, 3, 1. In that case, look to your hand and see, is water on it? It's done. And move on. You understand? So it waswas, with those things that look to the body, say if your face, is my face wet? It's washed. Is my hand wet? It's washed. And move to the next thing. Because you will never move. That's what was. You never move. In the toilet, what? Did I clean myself? Get up and go. You understand? If you stay there, you will never move. So that's the things that though, with waswas, you have to listen to someone. You understand? Not let you hold you back, but you have to listen to someone fight you by. Either look to some sign. This, okay, wash my hand is wet, then it's washed. And you just go. So back to what we're discussing. Also this concern that of a matter that the Shaykh Hafidullah that he discussed. That of the matter they discussed concerns now that we mentioned last concern that the person who believes in his intention that he has completed Salah, then give the taslim, unless you have been informed or come to know of otherwise, with something which is certain. So either you catch yourself at the end, I actually didn't complete, I have one more rak'ah, you understand? And that you're very certain about it, then you complete one rak'ah and give the taslim, the Sujood Al Sahw.
What's the time limit with that?
And to be discussed, all that point. So we said a person, if what he believes, then he act upon unless he have been informed otherwise. Now, the next point, okay, to move to that point, that the Shaykh mentioned, okay, the time limit. In this case, the Prophet now he prayed rak'atain. I discussed this matter. Then he went and moved to a different spot. Now I'm in the Masjid. Some people left the building, the Masjid, and some remain. And a discussion started between a person who approached the Prophet and spoke to him. Some of the discussion here, Shaykh says, no, that the person that they discuss if a person speak while in his salat, but in this case no one spoke while they were in salat because they gave the taslim. There's a mention that if a person speak in the salat, now out of forgetfulness, his salat is still valid. Even though Dhul Yadain, no anyone spoke in the salat, because salat for them are ended. But they mention a different other ahkam, so they can someone use the hadith, can some other discussion, but in reality, no one spoke while they were in the salat, because they all gave taslim and they moved about. Now, and I mentioned this, so the Prophet ﷺ also, he moved to a spot, so he did additional action. Prayed at a place that he prayed, moved to a different spot. Now, some people left the masjid, but then he recalled, was corrected that he prayed less than what he had prayed. Then what he did? He only prayed rak'atayn and sujood al sahw. But a time span went between the time he prayed and the time he made up. He even moved, spoke, but still he what? Prayed rak'atayn. Didn't pray the complete salat over. So they mentioned that in this case, that if they discuss what's the time span between if this was to occur. Now, for a person to can make up just what he has missed. So I'm in a house, prayed, or I'm in a masjid, prayed. Now, some mention if the person's still in the masjid, if the time is up, they mention if he's still in the masjid, now, then he can just pray what remains. With me? Some mention if he leave the masjid premises, then he has to make up a complete new rak'ah, a complete new salat. With me? Dhuhr, pray rak'atayn. Those who are in the masjid can only pray what? 2 rak'atayn. 5 minutes elapsed, went by 10 minutes, but yes, in the masjid, all that you can, what? Just make up what remain. For the one who left the masjid, left the premises, then he pray what? Arba. Some mention no, it goes back to the urf, the custom, and the time. If the person left the masjid, then as he's about to cross the street, people say, come back, we didn't. They can come back and just pray what? Rak'atayn. Because still, it's not enough, still there's a few minutes have gone by. So let's go back to the ijtihad, go back to the imam and understand the people. But we said, no, generally, if the person in the masjid, just make up 2. If you leave the masjid, then that becomes more of a discussion. If you're still close by to come back and pray in the masjid, then you can pray rak'atayn. But if you leave and go back to your house, you with me? Then told that, you know what? We actually did pray 2, then you pray what? Other one. With me? So you have a discussion between the ulama. Now regarding what time difference that the person either can just pray rak'atayn or should they pray a new complete salat. The person left, gone, then that's a different thing. Then he prays arban if he's close by, even leave the masjid, but still close enough that when he come enough to come back and catch, pray back again and complete in the masjid. Then he prays rak'atayn with sujood al sahw. Our next matter discussed, it shows concerning that with the people, you have different people with different approaching different. Some people immediately left the masjid. So they just pray rak'atayn, and that was boom, they leave. And now they understand, so you have those people who, and why? Why just left the masjid like that? Because they had that much confidence and trust in the Prophet that they believed what he did was correct. So they just prayed as he prayed and they left. Now, and here Islam didn't, we said no, criticize them. With me? Nor send message for them to do whatever else. Now, then you find some who remain in the masjid have a discussion. And you find some people are like that. Some people, they just move with it. They just do whatever the person that they trust doing. Without questioning anything. Then you have those who remain in the masjid and they start to like look at each other, ask what's going on. They want to, what? Some seek some more clarity. So the first set who left didn't want no clarity. Enough trust that they took what they received. Some in the masjid want some further clarity. Those who felt something was wrong, but they felt shy to approach the Prophet Abu Bakr and Umar of those ones. Abu Bakr and Umar, the ones, felt something was wrong but didn't, what? Want to approach the Prophet ﷺ about the matter. And they were the most illustrious of the companions, the most noble amongst them, and people of ilm. But they felt, you understand, so sometimes I find a person of ilm, so it shows that sometimes a person, a gathering of people of ilm. And one of the alim in that gathering may give a fatwa or give a ruling on a matter. Others may not agree with him, but they want to, not say Clark, but put forth their position. But they may not per se agree with that position. So being in the setting, in that gathering of Mashaykh and Tullab al-Ilm, one who everyone respect may give a view. It doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in the gathering agree with that view, even though they might, because of their silence. So it says, لَيْسَ عَلَى سَاقِطْ قَوْلٍ. The person who's silent, you doesn't attribute to him a view, because he's silent. You with me? So even though he's in the gathering, it doesn't mean because I didn't say anything, it doesn't mean that I agree. He might have a reason why he wished to, not to express his view. So you might find people who are silent and they are in agreement, and those who are in silent and they are not in agreement. But each might say go present the qara'in, depending on different factors, why a person might remain silent and why they may not. So that's something to bear in mind. So you might hear something going on, ulama might not say anything, doesn't mean that they're in agreement. So maybe you have to look to other things to see that are they in agreement or in disagreement. So in other settings, in their own environment, they might say things that indicate they don't agree with that view. But in that sitting that occurred then in that day, on that particular sitting with all of them, he didn't say anything, but a week after, you hear him say something that indicate that he's not on that thing. He doesn't agree with that view. You with me? So those things will be looked at. Also, of those who were present, who stood up and approached the matter, seek clarity from the Prophet ﷺ. So they went and can somewhat question the Prophet ﷺ about the matter. So to question an alim on the Prophet ﷺ, it's not something which is what? In all cases negative. To seek clarity. In your case, you did not understood, he saw what the Prophet ﷺ did. He was clear. He had to pray what? Rak'atayn. But he was upon the asl, which is other rakat for asl and dhuhr. Why? In this case, it was rak'atayn. It is something that was a new legislation that came, or something has occurred. That's why I said qasr, meaning that a new legislation have occurred. Something occurred, either you make an error or something new have occurred regarding legislation, regarding this salat. It have changed now from 4, gone down to 2. So seek clarity. So seeking clarity is not something that is considered to be something which is, you can't ask. And you shouldn't ask, because the person know what they're doing. That's for them. But you want clarity, because you have to act upon it. And you have to be, and you'll be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about it. So if you don't understand, you have a right to ask for clarity. For next person, he may not. That's his business. But if you deem that the matter requires clarity because it's going against what you already understood, what you know, you can ask clarity. Because dhul yadayn what? Ask. But we said ask in a respectful way. Now, so based upon this, that dhul yadayn, he asked, and the Prophet ﷺ noticed that the error was from his part. But also he asked, in some narration, he asked others, Abu Bakr Umar, is he correct? So they said, no, they mentioned concerns, and we said, no, qabr al-thiqa. Qabr al-thiqa. A discussion in contemporary time. Qabr al-thiqa. Meaning, qabr al-thiqa, a person who you ought to be reliable, has said something. Do I take it immediately, without question? Or you can question it? Because you see, thiqa, a person is reliable, trustworthy. Should I delve more into the information you're giving me, or is sufficient for me just to take it for what you give because you are trustworthy? With me? That qabr al-thiqa goes into masail. And they use this hadith, they said, you understand? So this message Surah Al-1, the person said to be a qabr al-thiqa, they said they use concern jaru ta'dil. Yes, they're jaru ta'dil, but it doesn't mean that a person with thiqa is correct in everything that he says. And that sometimes he's not questioned. There's no such, there, you understand? So in a person who's thicker, sometimes he's questioned to verify the correctness of his information. Now, and sometimes information is taken because you accept it based upon what it is. But it may vary one person to another. But it doesn't mean that it is unquestionable in all cases. With me? So in this case, the person questioned the Prophet Islam about this matter. Now, especially the matter which is Sharia. Now, then the Prophet even, so he was somewhat undecided about the action of the best of people, the Prophet Islam. With me? Knowing that Umar and Abu Bakr was present, but he still went forward and asked, what's going on? With people who are more, Dunya is not known, he doesn't even know who he is. Are the people of ulama from the Sahaba. Not all the Sahaba from the ulama. But the person who was the least one you expect, he came forward and asked, they said, the Ami man among the Sahaba. He was the one from the Sahaba who came and put the question forward. What's the situation?
But you see this a few times from the Bedouins.
Yeah, I'm saying fine. Those people are the ones who normally question things. Because they're like that. Yes, so sometimes, so asking questions sometimes to the sheikh or to the alim is not something to seem as something which is embarrassing. If you need clarity on a matter, then you have a right to ask. And especially when something is going against what is already established. With me? Then you have a right to ask because it's going against what's already established. So the person can question the matter. And the Prophet himself even tried to ask others what's going on. So, that's me. You understand? So it shows concern to know that sometimes a matter may need further discussion. So the Prophet then put it to others outside him and the person who's having the discussion. Because those people are also witness to the situation. So when I find a matter going on between the ulama, now, that some may speak about the matter, but the matter is still affecting you. So there's nothing harmful for the people who are involved to put it to those who are not involved directly. To see, what's your take on this matter? With me, from people who are equally qualified. So this matter was one of those cases so that clarity on certain matters may need to be looked into further. Not just that because I trust you is enough. It doesn't mean that I'm against you, but that means certain matters may need certain further clarity, especially a matter concerning a deen.
Well, it seems amongst certain circles that it's an affront to ask for clarity, especially with the modern tikkot.
Sometimes it's done out of other reasons. Other reasons, not per se. Aywa. Especially ta'ala.